Just 3 games to go in the Big 12 Conference regular season as the Baylor Bears look to keep their title hopes alive today in Fort Worth, taking on TCU. The historic season for the Baylor Bears, 25-2, the 23-game win streak to break the Big 12 record, 14-1, that's the most conference wins in program history. Can they finish it off? Can they finish it with that coveted Big 12 championship, regular season or in the tournament? He's Tim Welsh. I'm Chucky Kemp. They've been so impressive all season long. So what is it, Tim, that stands out to you most?
They've got 3 things. They've got defense, they've got toughness, and they've got great guard play. And, of course, a 4th, experience. And all that adds up to that. Those things travel well, especially in the top conference in the country, one of the top conferences. They've gone on the road, and they've just dismantled teams with their defense. And that's what they're going to have to do today, because TCU is going to have to try to outscore them in transition, which is almost impossible to do against Baylor.
Desmond Bain and company have been pretty good here at home this season. They've already knocked off Texas Tech and West Virginia. This is a place they are very comfortable. This Baylor team has not won here. No one on this team has won here. Mark Vidal, the last time they won it in 2017 in this building, Mark Vidal was the only one on the team, but he was a red shirt. Baylor controls the tip. Here we go.
Well, expect TCU starting man, but they'll mix up their defenses. They'll play some 2-3 zone as well, do some switching on the perimeter.
Butler penetrating. Davion Mitchell to Jared Butler. First shot of the game short. Fuller rebounds.
Excellent patience by Baylor, but here comes TCU on transition.
Desmond Bain gets things rolling for the Horned Frogs.
Well, Edric Dennis with R.J. Nembhard out with the injury. He's going to play the point today, and Jamie Dixon wants him to distribute more. Good start for the Horned Frogs.
Teague on a screen from Gillespie. Butler penetrating. A defensive start here for TCU. Mitchell. Some energy right now for TCU, and Vidal picks up a foul, and he's hurt.
He's got to rebound the ball and try to get out in transition. So far, TCU, you can see they're trying to push the pace. They've got to do 2 things here. See Vidal, a little cross check at half court. He's bounced back up, but he's running to the locker room.
Kind of some knee to the thigh area there on Vidal. That brings in Matthew Meyer, our first substitute of the game.
Well, 2 things, Chucky. TCU wants to get out and run first and foremost, but then they've got to try to establish some interior scoring with Kevin Samuel and then work inside back out to the perimeter.
Mitchell hounding Edric Dennis. Fuller wanting to go into the big man, stolen away by Meyer.
That's what Baylor does well on the weak side. They're always probing the ball with good weak side help.
Meyer lost it. Good hands by Dennis.
Scott Drew just kind of rolls his eyes. That's not what their offense is. He doesn't want Matthew Meyer doing that. He wants him to come down as a trailer, reverse the ball to the guards, and then establish himself on the baseline.
TCU coming off the tough loss at Iowa State. Nembhard went down in warm-ups with a groin injury. That was a huge loss for them. Bain on Gillespie, pulls up from mid-range and hits the jumper.
Good shot by Bain, nice move, but they've been looking to Kevin Samuel on the switch on that last play. He had Maceo Teague on him on the inside. That's what Kansas did. They ran that middle pick and roll, and they got Goga Zabuke against the guard on the inside. TCU trying to do that early.
Mitchell slashing. Eight to shoot for Butler. Floats it up, gets the roll. Baylor's first bucket, 2.5 minutes in.
Well, that's where Baylor's so tough. They're patient. They wait for you to make a mistake. They space the floor, reversed it, and then they didn't handle, TCU did not handle the pick and roll well.
Desmond Bain had a slow start to their first meeting in Waco. Can't get the home roll, but Bain already has 2 buckets in this one, so it's a much better start for them with that respect.
Probably Not the best shot in the world, but Jamie Dixon needs him to be very aggressive today, so that's okay.
Maceo Teague inside, wrap around to Gillespie, blocked by Bain, a foul called.
Bain on a nice pull-up, and he's got that great body control. That's what makes him special. He can shoot it from the outside, and he's got the mid-range game as well.
Freddie Gillespie, the redshirt senior from St. Paul, Minnesota. A D3 transfer, one of the best stories in college hoops. Take another look.
Bain just a little late on the rotation down on the backside, and the guard's got to rotate back down to help the big.
Gillespie gets one. Grayer. Wanted to go into Samuel. Great help from Gillespie. TCU has an inbound underneath.
They've got to go in sooner to him. He was just posting up right in the middle of the lane with a guard on him, and he's got to do a better job also holding off that backside help.
Samuel had a 5-game stretch in February that started with the Baylor loss where he averaged under 5 points per game. Dennis Euro step, too strong, and Butler pulls it down.
It's just kind of an off-balance heave by Dennis. He's got to be drive in there and look for the big sliding into the open spot.
Maceo Teague. Numbers for TCU, Gillespie on the ground. Samuel wants it, has Maceo Teague guarding him. Grayer for three, long ball.
The old roll and replace. Grayer, nice job of feeling the situation, reading the defense, popping up on that weak side, catch and shoot, lockdown.
Jared Butler had it tipped away. I think Grayer got a piece of it. Mitchell for three. Dennis finally with it.
TCU guards must, and I say that again, must get involved with the rebounding. That time Baylor almost secured the offensive glass. TCU's got to be physical with Baylor's guards.
Fuller wraparound. Nope, Meyer takes it.
Just a horrible pass by Fuller. I mean, he just threw it right to exactly where Samuel was covered instead of where he was open.
Meyer connects for two. They were just one of their first 7 before that Meyer make.
Baylor is too good defensively. They're not going to give you a whole body to be open down low. There's only going to be one little spot. You've got to slip that ball and fire it right into that spot where Samuel can catch it and go right up with it.
Dennis around Mitchell, but he still catches back up. They can't get the ball to Kevin Samuel right now. 6 to shoot for Bain. Step back, needs some help. Grayer. Off the back rim. Here come the Bears.
Just nothing there on that possession. TCU never got the ball inside the three-point line.
Nice feed from Butler into Gillespie.
Oh, that's his spot. Everybody has their favorite spot. And that's Freddie Gillespie's bread and butter. That pinch post.
Bain open for three in the corner. Offensive rebound, but a wild throw. That's going to be over and back. Close one early on. 6 minutes in, tied at 7 in Fort Worth. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots, now in 2 great tropical flavors. And in part by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. And Zaxby's hand-breaded chicken and fresh ingredients made to order only at Zaxby's. Been a while since the Baylor Bears have been crowned conference champions back in 1950. Baylor and Kansas atop the Big 12 standings, well separated from the rest of the pack. Texas a big win today over Texas Tech in Lubbock. Baylor neck and neck with TCU here in Fort Worth right now as the Horned Frogs looking for an upset of their own over the #2 ranked team in the nation.
Well, TCU's come out with a very good game plan. They're spacing the floor. They're just having trouble getting by the Baylor guards, and that's something that's not new for anybody in the Big 12. They are a lockdown unit out there.
Great move from Mitchell, but can't get the roll. Almost 2.5 minutes without a TCU basket. Had stretches like this in the first game in Waco that really cost him. Dennis fouled by Clark, who takes a hard fall. Let's take a look at what Baylor and Kansas have left. Baylor, of course, at TCU today. They have Texas Tech at home and then at West Virginia. On the other side, Kansas might have the toughest matchup of all going to Lubbock, but who is it? Who has the better road to that championship?
Well, normally I would say it would be split because going to West Virginia and going to Texas Tech both are troublesome. But these guys, they haven't blinked. Neither of them have lost on the road in the league. So I think they're both going to run the table. Of course, TCU's pretty focused here today, and if they can get some buckets, they're going to give Baylor a game. But right now the problem is they're having trouble getting the ball into the paint. Now that was a good drive by Dennis on that last move, and they're trying to get Baylor into switching situations where their guards are guarding the bigs.
Devontae Bandu out there for Baylor. Left hand, really nice move to the lane.
Well, that's the luxury that Scott Drew has. If one of the guys aren't playing well or aren't knocking their shots down, Teague's maybe a little banged up with the wrist issue, he can bring in Bandu, and he's got another very good guard coming in off the bench.
Taken away, here comes Clark with Bandu. Steps back for three.
TCU's got to somehow, some way, get the ball reversed with some dribble handoffs and then pick and roll with the defense on the move, because right now they're going backwards instead of getting into the lane.
10 to shoot. Almost 4 minutes without a bucket. 3 turnovers in that span. Smith wide open for three. Too strong, but gets the offensive board and gets Clark again in the air. That's 2 on Tristan Clark already. Jamie Dixon, year #4, had at least 21 wins in his first 3 seasons at TCU. Took him to the NCAA tournament in 2018.
We also didn't mention that Francisco Farabello is out, and he's a valuable piece off the bench as a backup point guard. He's got a good assist-to-turnover ratio, and he and Nembard out. They're really thin at the guard spot.
Fuller and Owen Asher is coming into the game.
Jamie Dixon praised the Asher for his play in the Iowa State game where they came all the way back and tied the game late in Ames earlier in the week, and he's going to have to give him some minutes today, but he's up against it going against these guards on both ends.
TCU just 1 for 4 at the free throw line so far. Vital in trouble. Oh, they got a foul on Ledee. Jamie Dixon does not agree. TCU in it. 8 minutes in, 11:55 to go here in the first half. With West Virginia, Texas Tech, Oklahoma also in the conversation. Oklahoma right there on that bubble. Texas, the next 4 out before that win at Texas Tech. And Joe Lunardi's kind of said right now they stay there depending on what else happens throughout the day. But Texas has won 4 straight. They're making their push.
Amazing, too, with Jericho Sims out. Yep. But Andrew Jones has stepped up and looked like the Andrew Jones of old down the stretch. And Shaka has him peaking at the right time. We'll see if it's too late, but they're going to have plenty of opportunity moving forward, especially in the Big 12 tournament, to get some more quality wins.
Fuller working on Butler. Samuel tries to pull down the offensive rebound, but can't. A great save by Maceo Teague. Gillespie with the offensive rebound out to Maceo Teague. Vital dumps it down to Freddie Gillespie, and he finishes.
Right there, that's why Mark Vital is so special, playing alongside Freddie Gillespie. Here you see Vital brings the defense up a little bit. Samuel overhelped, should have just stayed home on Gillespie and made Vital shoot that little runner. Instead, he helps up, and they go down to Gillespie. Those guys work so well together. Mark Vital constantly playing in the lane with his head up, looking to make that extra pass.
Davion Mitchell all over Owen Asheris. Nice cut from Fuller to help him out. Mid-range Jay. Finally, they get a field goal. Their first in the last 5 minutes.
Well, I don't know if Owen Asheris signed up for this when he tried out as a walk-on to be guarded by Davion Mitchell here in the game in late February. The best lockdown defender, one of the best in the country.
Van Du over Asheris. Off the mark, good box out by Fuller. Here comes Bain. Desmond Bain to the hoop. Vital may have got a piece on it and Van Du pulls it in.
Vital was chasing him down, made that angle a little bit tougher for Bain at the rim.
Tough shot from Teague. Good defense from Asheris. Quickly to Bain. Rayer to the table for TCU. He'll check in at the next dead ball.
Evan Samuel yet to take a shot. TCU has to try to go through him a little bit.
Relentless defense on Desmond Bain. Mitchell. They got Smith from behind, kind of leaning on him.
The Baylor defense is beyond special. This is why they are who they are right there. Just lockdown. Doesn't matter who they're guarding. And Owen Asheris is like, get me out of here. And then Vital chasing it down from behind, making things difficult. Gillespie, kind of the secret weapon down low, always attacking the basketball.
Ask Scott Drew, have you ever had a group so laser focused? And he said, I think what it is a lot of guys are playing because maybe they've been told to play because they're good, because they think they have to. He said these guys love to play. They love to be in the gym together. And you see that every night.
Well, the belief is there now, and you can't stop it because it's a runaway train. They believe in each other. They love the winning, and they believe in their coach and what he's given them. And they have opportunity every night just to lock you down. Look at that defense again.
Fuller looking for a poster, but denied. Vital slapped away by Grayer off of Vital's leg. Good defensive play.
Well, on cue, Chucky, the defense of Baylor just smothering at the rim. Nothing easy. You better be ready to make that extra pass when you drive in the lane.
Baylor has dropped some of the season lows for 4 different teams. Kansas, Texas, Tech, and Texas among them in the conference. Butler just to 58 as well. They can really stifle you on any given day. Samuel can't get on the board.
That's a pretty good look, but he still has to work to get better, closer position to the rim.
Meyer wide open. Baylor cooperating at the moment for TCU. Nice cut from Fuller, inside contact, and they'll count it.
Well, good job by TCU to kind of stay with it. And this is how you beat Baylor's defense. And if you can, you got to beat it up the floor and try try to attack, and they called the charge on that call.
Good call?
Good call. I thought it was a charge, but the official kind of confused us with his signal. It looked like the home crowd thought he gave the and one counted, but that was really the charge signal.
Butler right back to it. And a swing in Baylor's favor right there.
Yeah, swing, and then again, it's a danger zone early for TCU just because their offense, not enough north-south, too much east-west, and south-north going the wrong way.
Dennis working on Butler. Fuller says, hey, go back to Desmond Bain's side. Bain step back. Can't get anything to go right now. One of their last 10 from the field.
Well, that's what Nembhard gives him. He's a guy that can break the defense down and make shots from the outside, and they really miss him. You could see it early.
Foul on Samuel sends Freddie Gillespie to the line, but Baylor out in front, Tim.
Well, it's like a broken record, Chuck. You don't know anything about that. You're too young, but over and over and over, we're going to come at you with our defense on the outside, the inside, and then attack with our guards right to the rim.
Duke looking to bounce back after that double overtime loss at Wake Forest. We take a look at our 1 and 2 seeds, and the Blue Devils hanging on to that final 2 seed, but Joey Brackett says with a loss, they would lose that seed to any of the teams on the 3 line, which is Creighton, Seton Hall, Villanova, and Kentucky.
Well, Virginia's played well as of late. They've won 8 out of 9, 5 in a row. So they've always been very good defensively this year. They're trying to find some answers on offense with all their losses from a year ago. But now they're starting to play better on the offensive end of the floor. So Virginia's made a little bit of a late push.
Freddie Gillespie to the line. Carleton College transfer. 0 for 2. TCU needs some baskets right now, Tim. What's the recipe on offense they need to find?
Well, they've got to try to get the ball going into the paint and try to drive and get the help going and then kick it back out. That's the only way they're going to get open threes.
Teague transition. Either team can really dial it in. Deion Mitchell on Dennis. Eight to shoot for Desmond Bain. Looking for help. Contested 3, off the back iron. Gillespie pulls it in.
Oh, that's just bad offense by TCU. You have Desmond Bain going one-on-one and 4 guys standing. They're getting no movement away from the basketball. So as soon as Bain gets into the lane, the door closes very, very quickly.
Jared Butler. Teague, tough runner, gets the roll.
The body control, power, quickness, and touch by Teague. Maceo Teague's been fighting this wrist problem for a few weeks now, but he's gutted it out. You see with that left wrist, the little step through, and Bain, very good defense, but better offense.
TCU trying to match that intensity on the defensive end, but have had no luck offensively. Just one of their last 12 from the field.
Now, it's easier said than done trying to get the ball into the lane, but you've got to try to get some movement. That's easy. You've got to get players moving and get the defense trying to get them caught off guard a little bit on ball reversal where they're moving.
Butler all over P.J. Fuller. Finally to the hoop, and that's going to be goaltending on Freddie Gillespie.
Well, P.J. Fuller did a good job body control, and he was harassed on the perimeter, but he had a little room to operate with that spin in the lane, but here comes Gillespie just a little late.
A lead back to 5 for Baylor. Kevin Samuel on the bench for TCU with 2 fouls. Good feed to Gillespie with a left hand.
Like 2-on-2 in your driveway. The help comes up, Owen on the backside because the floor was spaced on the weak side.
Jamie Dixon wants a timeout with 12 on the shot clock. They're trying to draw something up. 4:42 to play. We're back in 30 seconds.
Baylor's great defense, and rightfully so, but on offense they are so efficient as well because they space the court. See, they've got the defense all dragged to the weak side of the floor because they're all spaced out on the three-point line. You can't help off, so a little 2-on-2 game on ball side. Easy money for Gillespie.
TCU looking for their first consecutive baskets in the game. Dennis to the hoop, high off the glass. Ledee trying to keep it alive. And finally Gillespie has it. He's fouled by Smith.
Boy, just a frustrating play for TCU. Dennis did a great job, got all the way to the rim and just kind of took his eye off the target.
Our next NBA Saturday primetime game has Jason Tatum and the Celtics hosting James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and the Houston Rockets. Coverage tips with the jump at 8 Eastern on ABC. Watch both on the ESPN app from anywhere.
By the way, what's James Harden doing calling out the Greek freak? I mean, please, stop. They're all great. You're all getting your recognition. The Greek freak is more than a 7-footer who can just dunk. 51-8.
That would be quite the matchup in the finals with the way Harden's been going at him this last week. Loose ball.
They beat the Thunder last night by 46. It's pretty good.
He was mad. He had to prove something.
I would not poke that guy. No way.
And Jason Tatum, not bad to be in the Celtics history books. He could join that list. If it weren't for our leap day, he would have already joined the list.
He has been beyond special. In the last few games, he's been doing it without Kemba Walker as well, but he has put the team on his back, shooting over a period of 2 or 3 game stretch. He's shooting over 60% from the three-point line, but he's got that medium game well, and the thing that I'm impressed about him is a couple games this year, he's really taken on the toughest defensive assignments. So that's where he's lacking when he was at Duke and when he first came in the league. He wasn't a great defender because he's so young, but now he's starting to really defend.
3 to shoot, 2. Bain from the logo. Ledee pulls it in. Huge offensive rebound. Baylor resets that defense so quickly, too. You can't ever catch them off guard, it seems like, even with an offensive rebound.
The thing is, they communicate so well, and they're used to switching, and they just match up quickly.
Foul on Butler. Baylor by 7 here in Fort Worth. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try a Big Bacon Classic today, and Novartis. That has not happened. They won it.
Probably 2 weeks ago, I would have said maybe West Virginia could get Baylor at home. And they still could if they figure out their offense. Right now, they're just kind of spinning on the offensive end. They really don't have an identity. They're not making shots. Their inside guys are not playing as well as they were early in the year. They got a Culver going. If that happens, then that could be a difficult situation because they are very hard to play in Morgantown.
Ledee caught with the offensive foul, and it's just kind of been spiraling for TCU. They led 7-5 at one point, but 7 turnovers, Tim. They were starting to really frustrate them on the offensive side as this half goes on. Into Meyer. That is 18 points in the paint already for the Bears. Jamie Dixon wants a timeout.
Well, they came out in the 2-3 zone. Baylor recognized it immediately and called a special play and went right inside for the easy bucket.
Freddie Gillespie today already 8 points, 5 rebounds. he is quite the story, Tim.
Well, he's just relentless. We watched him early in the air playing up in Ames. He got bopped right in the middle of the forehead. He had blood all over his face. He didn't even go to the locker room. He went right behind the bench, got bandaged up, said, "I'm going back in now." And that's just his attitude. And it's contagious. And just that fire, that ability. Scott Drew told me, we don't even call plays for him ever. And he never complains. Even if he goes through periods of games where he doesn't touch the ball, he doesn't say a word. He just keeps playing at that same level. Hard, physical basketball.
2 years at Division III Carleton College. He didn't really even play a whole lot. Sat out after he transferred to Baylor in the 2017-18 season, and then started to come on last year after the injury to Tristan Clark. And Gillespie has not looked back. He is right up there with the top stories in the nation as Gillespie gets the block shot. Meyer to Teague, contact. Gillespie's there on the glass. Meyer for three. Teague trying to run it down into the TCU bench.
Well, Baylor switches on everything defensively here. Now he gets caught on the guard, P.J. Fuller. But what does he do? Lockdown. Force a baseline where he can't go anywhere and it disrupts the shot. And then coming back down the floor, again, relentless. Nose to the basketball.
Gillespie 7 rebounds in the game already. How many big guys do you see that can switch like he can so effectively? There's just not a whole lot in the nation.
Well, he just gets down in a stance. He plays, uses his length, but he's also jet quick with his feet and his ability to play angles off the bounce.
Bain, TCU needs one. Gillespie denies it off the glass. Ledee is fouled by Butler. This is what Scott Drew had to say about Freddie Gillespie when he got there. He said, we've had walk-ons be successful, but no one came in as raw as he did. And then this one, my favorite, when he first got in the gym, he struggled to score by himself. Look at him now.
I'll give the coaches all the credit in the world, and of course Freddie Gillespie as well. But you wonder if they would have really discovered what he could bring to the program. Tristan Clark hadn't got hurt last year, and then when he got hurt, it forced them to play Freddie Gillespie, and the rest, as we say, is history. And he has just grown into a player that it's so special when you have a guy that just plays. He doesn't demand the ball. He doesn't care what position he's playing. He doesn't care who he's guarding. I'm not a 5 or am I a 4? What am I? You know, he just plays, and he wants to win. TCU in a 2-3 zone. Baylor's going to run some special, going to go right inside.
Too easy to Matthew Meyer.
Well, TCU just trying to bandage the situation right now. That was just horrible defense. Everybody had their hands down. It was kind of like a soft high school zone. Everybody was standing straight up, and that was easy. Both times they were in zone, Baylor immediately went right inside.
Tough shot right there from Jair Grayer.
Dixon immediately goes back to the man. A good move by Grayer. They need more of that, but they need ball reversal first and then attack when they have a little space.
Grayer averaging over 11 points per game in the last 5 as Dennis hounds Mitchell near midcourt. Chasing Mitchell, didn't get the help he needed, but he cooperates on a missed layup. Grayer thought about another 3.
Look at Meyer's defense, moving his feet on the perimeter.
Under a minute to play in the first half. TCU trying to keep it in single digits. Grayer for 3.
Roll and replace. Matthew Meyer just got caught turning his head in. Usually you don't see that with Baylor, but they made the mistake and TCU made him pay. A little excitement here in Fort Worth.
Mitchell trying to answer no. Gillespie rises over everyone. And here comes Meyer. Flips to Teague for 3. Got it!
The old dagger. Inside, offensive rebound, back out to the perimeter before the defense can reset.
Big possession for TCU to finish things off here in the first half. Dennis for 3. Off the mark, Gillespie over the top of Ledee, and they get him for a foul.
Well, That's just Gillespie can't help himself. He has one mindset. When the ball goes up in the air, get in position to go get it. Put your forehead on the ball. That time, though, TCU did a better job of getting inside position on the block out.
Jaden Ledee has had to play big minutes here in the first half because Samuel had 2 fouls.
Now, Samuel had 2 fouls, and he also was just kind of playing half out there. He wasn't really working hard, and Gillespie didn't work hard to get that low post position to demand the ball around the basket to see if he could get Gillespie in some foul trouble himself.
Ledee looking to cut it to 7 and gets the roll. 2 seconds here for Baylor.
Kind of a feel-good last couple free throws just to get TCU feeling a touch better about themselves going into the locker room.
They've cut it down to 7. Baylor 28, TCU 21. We send it to the halftime report with Kevin Connors. Number 2, Baylor Bears, led by Freddie Gillespie, and that defensive relentlessness that they've been known by all season long, lead TCU by 7 here at the break in Fort Worth. Well, the historic season continuing for Baylor as they look to continue their march through the record books, the 23-game win streak, hoping to improve to 15-1 in Big 12 conference play, and hoping to have at least a share of that Big 12 regular season conference title. For the first time in the program's history, alongside Tim Welsh, I'm Chucky Kemp. Kansas and Baylor up top of those conference standings. Baylor today, it's kind of what we've come to expect from them. They've been so good on the defensive end. What stands out to you most?
There's no air. You can't breathe when you're playing against them. You have to have terrific guards to beat Baylor, and TCU doesn't have terrific guards. They have one great player in Desmond Bain, but everybody else is just an average guard, and right now their guards are just doing all they can not to lose the ball. That's why Kevin Samuel only has 1 shot, no points, because their guards are not able to get him the ball, and also he's got to work harder, but easier said than done. These guards are relentless, and TCU, give them credit. They've played very good defense themselves. They went toe-to-toe with Baylor on the glass. They just can't get any good, clean looks. Desmond Bain, 2 for 10. Baylor has just smothered him. Every time he touches the ball, they're right on his shoe tops.
20 of Baylor's 28 points in the first half came inside the paint. Jared Butler working against Fuller to start things, and a floater is good. The lead to 9. Now on this end for TCU, Kevin Samuel didn't play much in that first half, but even when he's out there, they couldn't get him the basketball, wasn't super assertive. How do you change that and get the ball inside?
Well, the problem's twofold. First of all, they got to get the ball moving from side to side and get him moving from side to side where he can post and then repost and establish himself down low. But he's going up down low. When Gillespie forces a little bit of pressure on his back, he kind of just stops.
A shot by Fuller on the pump fake.
Well, that was one of TCU's better sets, not because they scored, but because they went from side to side. They made the defense change sides of the floor as well, and they finally got a clean look on that wing.
Spin by Butler, what a move in the lane.
Not many people talk about Jared Butler. We're talking about Mitchell, we're talking about Vital and Gillespie. But once again, he just runs the team seamlessly, looks to score when he can, and then always great on defense.
Into Samuel, poked away by Butler. Great rotations. We talked about that a lot tonight.
This, my friend, is nasty. How are you going to guard this if you're Kevin Samuel? You can't.
Samuel, the Big 12 Conference's leading shot blocker, right over the top of him. Fearless from Butler. Gillespie steals the inbound. Teague with numbers up top for Vital.
Well, we're not that far from Waco. I heard the Baylor faithful a little excited with that play, and you could see a fine, well-tuned engine right there, perfectly in sync with each other.
Samuel, finally, Kevin Samuel on the board.
Well, that was the play that Kansas ran last Saturday in Waco ad nauseum for Doka Zabuke, where they got them in a switchy situation, that middle pick and roll. TCU's tried to do it today, but they haven't been able to get any clean looks at the rim. That time, Samuel really did a great job of rolling hard right to the front of the rim.
Teague working against Edric Dennis. 6 to shoot. Gillespie, decent look, too strong. Gets his own rebound as he falls to the ground, and it's a travel.
That's a good call by Mike Stevens. Bert Smith had a foul, but Gillespie was out of control, kind of fell on his own.
Freddie Gillespie is everywhere. Approaching his 11th double-double of the season. 8 points, 9 rebounds.
The other thing I like about him is, questionable call. He gets knocked on his backside. The turnover. He doesn't say a word. Just gets up and the eyeballs get big again. I'm ready to go.
Bain floater.
Much better spacing to start the second half for TCU. They're starting to loosen up that Baylor defense. The defense has not been intense here in the first 3 minutes or so than it was in the first half. It's been a little loose.
TCU trying to string some together, but need a stop. Teague floats it up, and he's fouled on the shot.
First personal foul. First team foul against TCU.
College basketball continues tonight, 6 o'clock. A Sonic blockbuster, number 7 Duke. Only a half game back of Florida State in the ACC standings, taking on Virginia. And it's number 9 Maryland hosting Michigan State. Saw that game highlighted by College Game Day this morning. That place was rocking.
Oh my goodness. Even an appearance by Scott Van Pelt in his Maryland gear. I didn't realize he went to Maryland.
That was news to me, but he had him rolling.
Oh, what a super fan he is. He's always there for the big moments, which is great.
Let's go!
TCU down 9. The offense has looked so much better to start the second half. Bain, a little bit of a wild pass, knocked out by Mark Vital, one of 2 Baylor Bears in the semifinalists for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award.
Baylor does such a great job. Even if you get beat off the bounce on the perimeter, that time Bain had a clean lane to the rim, but the door closes so quickly because the help side's active and ready to move.
Ten to shoot for Desmond Bain. Fuller to Samuel. Great ball movement. Bain got to get something off and doesn't know it.
Listen, they made the extra pass to playing unselfishly, but part of the reason they made the extra pass because there was nothing there. They had to move the ball, and every time they moved it quickly, Baylor was right there on the catch. I thought Samuel, though, we talked about right by the rim, he's just got to try to power that ball up, either get fouled or make a bucket.
And long ball. Oh, got it.
It was hard to tell if TCU was in that zone again, but every time they've gone to that zone, Baylor has just carved it up.
Largest lead of the game for the Bears. Fuller working on Gillespie, just locked down. Back to Fuller for 3. P.J. Fuller answers.
Danny Dixon smartly goes back to the man-to-man. That zone is too soft. The Baylor's too smart, too skilled on the perimeter. They'll find that opening every time. That was a good job, though, by TCU with ball movement.
Davion Mitchell looking for help off of Vital. Fuller does a great job to keep it alive. Bain with Dennis lost the handle and he just throws it out of bounds. Single digits here in Fort Worth. Baylor up 9 on TCU. Some impressive records. San Diego State has been there pretty much all year, 27-1. Gonzaga, Dayton, Baylor, and then you get Kansas smashed in between a couple of the little guys, Liberty and Stephen F. Austin, both just 3 lost teams.
I'm a little guy at heart.
Okay.
We grew up in the MAC conference, so with Iona and the boys there, so we got to give Stephen F. Austin and Liberty a little love.
Absolutely.
Richie McKay's got them on the cusp of a special season as well. And the Lumberjacks, Kyle Keller, they've won 12 in a row in the Southland Conference. But listen, Liberty, North Florida is right on their heels. They're only 1 game behind. Matt Driscoll does an unbelievable job down in North Florida, and he was once where? An assistant to Scott Drew at Baylor.
Lunardi has Liberty as a 12 seed, Stephen F. Austin as a 13.
Chad Driscoll was at Baylor in the dark days when Scott D. first took over, when they were just hoping to win one league game every year.
Great hustle from Fuller, and a shot clock violation is called.
Good piece of refereeing again by Mike Stevens, right on the ball. This game is not easy to reference. You don't score fluidly enough because of the fact that defense is rough and tumble. It's not an easy game to officiate. There's Mike right on top of it.
The hustle from Fuller got the crowd into it a little bit. TCU needs baskets. Their last 7 possessions have either ended with a make or a turnover. 4 for 4 and 3 turnovers in their last 7 possessions.
It's just so good at keeping the ball on one side of the floor. You see they get on your outside shoulder and just force you to the sideline.
Fuller, right to the hoop.
That's the first time in a long time that TCU was able to drive the baseline without the help coming from the backside. And a little bit of life here in Fort Worth.
11 for Fuller. Butler slips it in. Samuel takes it away. Now Bain running it with Dennis. Dennis rises up.
Well, Jamie Dixon, the last time out, said, listen, we've got a lot of opportunity. We're not taking advantage. But suddenly, the defense is picking up. The offense is being more aggressive, more spacing, and more confident at the rim. Baylor a little slow on the retreat. And there, to the rack, finally taking advantage of an opportunity.
Baylor up 5 on TCU, but the Horned Frogs making their push, and a big part of it, P.J. Fuller.
Well, P.J. Fuller was recruited kind of as a point guard, combo guard, but he has been a guy that they need to score with Nembhard out of the lineup, and he's found his way with his foot quickness, his ability to space the floor a little bit, knock down shots. And listen, to pull off the upset, you need to match Baylor's intensity and toughness. And TCU has done that. But then the third part is you have to be able to execute. TCU suddenly is starting to execute on the offensive end.
Playing with some energy at the defensive end. Fuller's been a big part of that. Jamie Dixon's kind of been waiting almost for these guards to start to come into their own. Butler inside, and a foul called against Edric Dennis.
Dennis, second.
Big 12 now on ESPN+. If you don't have it by now, you need to get it. The exclusive home for #1 Kansas and TCU this Wednesday at 8 Eastern. And #2 taking on #20 Baylor and West Virginia 1 Eastern next Saturday, joined by Iowa State and Kansas State. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12. Butler misses the front end. Jamie Dixon in the background there, maybe bothering Jared Butler. 0 for 2.
Never seen that face, though, on Jamie when he's coaching a game. He's not smiling, usually he is laser focused. And right now, though, TCU has to continue just to space the floor. They're getting better movement on the weak side of the floor, which is giving them better opportunity and lane to go to the basket.
Trying to go into Samuel, they do. Samuel drop steps, Clark on the foul.
Clark, all he had to do was build a wall there, but listen, give Samuel a lot of credit. Gary does a nice job of pitching it right to where he was open. You saw the mismatch on the inside, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered for TCU. Get the ball going inside, then the outside will open up.
Third on Clark, but I think you'll take it if you're putting Kevin Samuel at the line, who shoots under 38% from the free throw stripe. And he misses both. It's been a big issue for the Horned Frogs this year. Mitchell driving, and great finish over 2 defenders.
Well, Baylor has that opportunity to attack from the point with space because of the fact they space the floor with shooters all around the three-point line, and it's very difficult to give help because if you do, they're going to drive and kick it to a three-point shooter.
Screen from Samuel. Fuller working on Clark now. Likes his matchup. likes the result.
This is a good coaching move and good play by TCU to attack Tristan Clark, because Baylor's going to switch on pretty much everything, but Clark clearly is their slowest defender afoot. He struggles sometimes to guard people off the bounce. He's a good post defender, but he's no Gillespie or Vital guarding guys on the perimeter.
That was Clark's 4th foul. Kevin Samuel will also take a rest as we see Jaden Ledee come in with Freddie Gillespie for Baylor. Fuller completes the 3-point play. It is a 4-point game in Fort Worth.
Well, Fuller's got some confidence going, but now he's got to get down and dirty on this end. Baylor's getting what they want off the bounce. Baylor, TCU's guards got to really get in a stance and try to force Baylor to the wing.
Butler, and they get Dennis again. Oh, they count the basket.
This has happened on numerous occasions, and they just get off balance because they have so much room to roam. And here he just refuses the ball screen. Dennis up in the air. I thought that was a good call.
Now the second part of that is the continuation. Do you agree with that part of it?
You know, he was going into his shot motion, and that's what Mike Stevens was right there on the call. And the fans here don't want to hear it, or Jamie Dixon, but he was going into his shot as he was fouled.
I trust you.
Well, don't trust me. Trust Mike Stevens. He's going to dress a national championship game every year, so, and he was standing right there.
Into Ledee. Has it ripped away by Vital. It's that danger zone right now because Baylor can really put you away quickly. Nice play by Desmond Bain.
Oh, great hands and awareness by Bain.
Step back, Desmond Bain. Yes, sir.
Baylor tried to squeeze something out of nothing on that offensive end instead of going all the way to the rim. But now TCU's really got to get down and dirty on these switches at the top and force sideline. The help's got to come sooner on the backside.
Butler, a blocking foul called on Ledee. The crowd alive and well here in Fort Worth. TCU trailing Baylor by 4.
Yeah, how about Shaka Smart, what he's done with that Texas club? And there, again, coming out of that timeout, it's just inexcusable. TCU, one pass and a wide open layup.
TCU keep it rolling offensively.
Well, how does that happen? It happens because you got a freshman on the floor in Fuller. He's concentrating on his offense, but his defense is not ready for prime time to play against these Baylor guards.
Dennis lines one up, air ball.
The problem is you come out of a timeout, it just takes the wind out of your sail. You've really done a great job getting yourself back in the game. You're just giving it the layup coming right out of the timeout.
Davion Mitchell in trouble and travel.
Here's what you're going to see on this baseline out of bounds play. DJ Fuller gets his head turned around and you see him right here. And what happens is that on the cut to the basket, he gets picked off and he's just trailing the play.
Kevin Samuel back out there for TCU. He's been much more of a factor, even though he only has 2 points in this second half. And they're going to need more from him. On Davion Mitchell, Bain to the hoop. Gillespie erases it.
That's okay, though. Desmond Bain's trying to be aggressive, and you have to be, except you're playing against one of the best defenders around. On the switch at the top, Gillespie gets beat a little bit, but that length and that timing makes up for it.
Fuller had a look. He's fouled on his way to the hoop. They say it's on the ground. Of course, TCU doesn't agree with that. They thought it was the same thing. Got some energy in here. I like it.
Life is not fair sometimes. I had a lot of nights where Jamie got the call when I'm playing in Pittsburgh, and I went home a sad coach, so.
A lot easier now, isn't it?
Well, Chucky buys the steak after, away we go. There's Fuller.
Samuel keeping it alive. Bain, pump fake, big time shot. Got it!
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great players in this league, but the utmost respect for that guy. Comes out every night. The team has struggled. They've had injuries and a lot of issues this year, lost a lot of close games, but he plays the same way every night.
Turnover. Grayer slashing to Samuel. Up and in. A 1-point game.
Here we go. How did we get here? Kevin Samuel came alive. Desmond Bain doing his thing. P.J. Fuller playing with energy on the offensive end. Desmond Bain came out of the gates today very aggressive, but never got frustrated. 2 for 10 in the first half, but stayed with it. He's got that great touch, the step back. He's playing terrific defense. And then the big fella, a 0 in the first half, came out of the locker room though, more focused. The Baylor a little late on the rotation. Should have put him on the free throw line, but Samuel had a great angle at the rim.
TCU 2-28 record versus top fives all time. Both wins came against Kansas, one in 2013, one in 2017.
They're awake here in Fort Worth. We thought it was a sleepy afternoon crowd, 75 degrees. Everybody wants to get to the golf course or the river. No, they want to see an upset.
Matthew Meyer, Devontae Bandu in for Baylor. Butler lost the handle for a moment. Up, blocked by Samuel. Rebound Gillespie. TCU pulls it in. A jump ball will belong, or no. A foul on Gillespie.
Good job by Jair Grayer. Mixing it up in there, and that is a must. TCU's given up a lot of strength, length, and girth on the inside. And Baylor had control of the backcourt, but Grayer just would not be denied. Great toughness by Grayer.
Gillespie's second foul. TCU looking for their first lead since the 15-minute mark in the first half. Fuller, wild pass. Meyer saves it. Not what they needed. Bandu, Gillespie, got it, and one.
Well, first thoughts are why is Meyer saving the ball? It was out on TCU, but it's a good thing he did because they were off to the races. He knew what he was doing, and Gillespie does what he does best, runs right to the rim. Great find by Bandu, and a finish in traffic.
Gillespie rolls it in, the lead back to 4. It's never going to be easy.
TCU's shot selection has been excellent this half. They have to stay the course.
Bain to Dennis for 3. Good!
Well, TCU's offense has been much, much better. That's obvious this half. But I also think Baylor's defense has taken a half step back. That same intensity we saw in the beginning of this game has not been there this half.
Meyer kicks it out. Bandu off the mark, and Samuel brings it in.
Bodies flying everywhere. Again, Grayer right in the middle of the mix.
Another chance for the Horned Frogs to take the lead.
Now they can space the floor. They've got a mismatch on the inside.
Bain, Fuller for the lead. No good. Samuel, offensive rebound, he's fouled.
thought they should have taken advantage earlier when Butler was on Samuel. They have to recognize that, but Kevin Samuel now was a new spark of energy this half, attacking the glass and then the rim. Now his troublesome spot, the free throw line.
Really, TCU hoping he could just get one and tie this thing up. There it is, right down the pipe.
That's the smooth stroke we saw last Saturday against West Virginia down the stretch, where he looked like a totally different player, but sometimes that big right hand gets in the way on the release. They're trying to get him to release that right hand off the ball and just kind of shoot that ball at the top one-handed.
TCU's first lead since it was 7-5.
Textbook, that guy looks like an 80% free throw shooter.
Bandu.
TCU's defense has been excellent this half. In a stance, communicating, contesting shots.
Teague slashing. Off the mark, Gillespie. Right where he needs to be. Freddie, a chance for three.
Well, we can tell you a few things about each team, but the main thing I can tell you, you cannot try to box that man out with one player. You've got to put multiple bodies on Freddie Gillespie. He's too active, too strong, and too relentless on the boards.
Yeah, Tim Welsh, as we have a 1-point game with 7:46 to play. Some good stuff coming from TCU, especially from beyond the arc.
Well, they're getting better looks at the basket. You know, the first half they struggled because they didn't have any open looks, but they've been patient with their offense, better movement away from the basket, away from the ball on the weak side of the floor. In the first half, there was a lot of standing around. Much better on the adjustments at halftime by Jamie Dixon to get more movement off the ball.
Dane Smith, Fuller, Dennis, and Samuel for TCU. Fuller and Davion Mitchell. Smith, bounce pass, Samuel up strong, and he's fouled. On Mark Vital this time, his third. Our NBA Sunday Special comes to you from the Big Easy. LeBron, AD, and the Western Conference leading Lakers taking on Zion and the Pelicans. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. That's tomorrow. The second meeting between LeBron and Zion. James with a season-high 40 in their first meeting. Zion 29. Gives him 9 straight 20-point games.
Brandon Ingram has been playing terrific as well for New Orleans, but there again, just a crusher for TCU. Samuel, 2 misses.
They will continue to put him on the line down the stretch.
He's doing a better job of moving to the ball and sliding into open areas to get open around him, but he's got to have a quicker finish so he doesn't get fouled.
Nice little setup there from Davion Mitchell.
That's where they put the pressure on you. Back up a little bit because you're worried about the dribble penetration, and they drill it right in your face.
Mitchell coming off his first career double-double. Hasn't shot the ball great today. Bain right back at you.
Ice water in that man's veins. He's just putting this team on his back. He and P.J. Fuller offensively now. Fuller's got to do a better job on this end of the floor. Just kind of play angles, use those long arms.
Dennis tips it out of bounds.
And it's so hard to play these guards again because you've got to give them a little room because they've got space, because the floor is space to take you off the bounce one-on-one. But if you give them too much room, they'll drill it from 3.
Double screen for Mitchell. Along the baseline, Bandu. Floater, tough shot, no. Gillespie keeps it alive almost, but it's out of bounds.
Kevin Samuel's doing a good job on the glass. He's putting that big body in there and trying to protect both Gillespie and Vital. Not easy. He's surrounded by 4 other smallish type players who aren't good rebounders.
Fuller. Vital pokes it away. They got a foul on Mark Vital. That's number 4 on him.
Scott Drew can't believe it. Brett Smith was right there on the call. He must have saw Vital reach in.
Tough to see from our angle here. Looked like Vital poked it away, but referee had a much better angle than we did. That sends P.J. Fuller to the line, 1-1. Fuller already 14 in the game. He's 1 for 1 at the line, an 80% free throw shooter on the season.
Vital is so strong and explosive when he goes in and tries to strip the ball out of your hands, and sometimes he does it so physically quick and strong with so much power, it looks like a foul when it really isn't.
2 for 2 for Fuller. The problem for TCU has been when they've gotten a lead, they haven't been able to back it up with a stop.
Well, the stops, I think, are better, but their concern right now has got to be on the glass. They've got to have their guards really dig in and help get 4 guys on that defensive glass.
Mitchell creating again. A foul called. It's going to go. He got Edric Dennis.
What Scott Drew has done now with Vital with the 4 fouls, he's gone with the 4-guard offense. Instead of bringing Tristan Clark in, he brings in Bandu. And the replay here has not been kind on a couple occasions, and that one, I'll say, looked like a good block.
The reaction from the fans was watching the replay on the big screen here at Schollmeyer Arena, and they're actually running it back one more time.
See, nothing's a secret anymore. Back in the old days, we weren't allowed to play the replays to embarrass the officials, but everything's open book these days.
Mitchell gets one. We are tied with 5:41 to go. The number 2 ranked team in the country getting everything they could possibly ask for here at TCU.
Well, this is small ball deluxe with the 2 bigs down low.
Fuller driving. Bain, pump fake. Got caught in the air a little bit. TCU has a chance to reset. Samuel really wants it. Grayer off the mark. Here comes Butler.
Airtight defense on that possession by Baylor. Nothing there.
Nice move from Butler inside. Contact, no. Gillespie trying to keep it alive. TCU corrals it.
Great physical presence by TCU in the lane at the rim.
Both sides ramping it up right now. Bain for 3.
Baylor not jumping out on that ball screen, and Desmond Bain, the confidence just growing through the roof, and so is the fans' energy here.
Butler at Samuel, and it's blocked.
Well, the tale of 2 halves. Kevin Samuel basically just a 0 on the floor in the first half, but offensively aggressive, setting ball screens up on the rim, and then, of course, the veteran superstar, Bain.
Bain got a piece of that one. It belongs to TCU.
Scott Drew's hot with the calls as well, but TCU is matching not only the level of intensity by Baylor, but the physicality as well.
Kansas survives in Manhattan today, so Baylor has to have a win to keep pace with the Jayhawks. Ten to shoot for TCU. Desmond Bain, fade away, tough shot. Largest lead of the game for Desmond Bain and TCU.
Desmond Bain found nothing open in the first half, and he has just controlled this game down the stretch with savvy, confidence, and toughness.
Butler to Teague. Floater, and they can't stop the bleeding.
Well, listen, TCU's offense has been very good this half, but their defense has been beyond special as well in the last 10 minutes. One and done for Baylor.
TCU, 6 of their last 8 shots have fallen. Bain feeling it. Desmond Bain, stop it! ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots, now in 2 great tropical flavors, and in part by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Back in just a moment from Fort Worth. Thank you, fellas. College hoops spoiling you on this fine Saturday. And Desmond Bain spoiling the Horned Frog faithful today.
2 for 10, 4 points in the first half. There was nothing open, nothing clean, but TCU made a bunch of adjustments at halftime. They got better ball movement, better play movement, better spacing, and then they gave the ball to Superman and said, try to stop me. There's no way you can because I am feeling it. Baylor on the ropes.
Saw Desmond Bain in the gym about an hour before shoot-around at least yesterday. Probably shot 80% in the gym alone. Baylor has to win this game to keep pace with the Kansas Jayhawks. TCU just looking for big wins down the stretch, momentum, anything they can get.
This Baylor team's not going to panic. Too much experience, too much confidence.
Teague fades away, air ball.
That wasn't a good decision by Teague. It's just kind of off balance, never got himself organized for that shot.
Got Gillespie on the fouls. He was chasing Samuel out to set the screen. Sports Center tonight after Arizona UCLA with Nabil Kareem and Zubin Mehenti. They'll have James Harden, Jason Tatum breakdown. Plus, the matchup in January ended with a brawl. Kansas and K-State square off again, this time in Manhattan. Plus, defensive lineman linebacker coverage at the NFL Combine. Sports Center after Pac-12 hoops on ESPN and the app.
Well, Baylor did a good job of hiding it and disguising it, but that was absolutely an intentional foul by Freddie Gillespie on that ball screen. He just jammed Samuel right in the middle of the floor to put him on the line.
Under 2:30 to play. Butler, big shot here. Rims out, just can't get a roll. They get Mark, or no, they get who with a foul? It is Vital on the rebound. And that's it for Mark Vital.
Well, Vital and Gillespie are relentless. They go after everything on the offensive glass. But what TCU has done is they've built a wall on the inside. It's not a big wall, but it's a solid wall. They're very small. They're undersized playing against this Baylor front line, but they've done a great job of putting their nose in the play.
Jair Grayer to the line. Still plenty of time here. TCU, they got to get some of the free ones. We showed you this one earlier, 2-28 all-time record against AP top fives. Both wins against Kansas. 3 years later since their last one over Kansas, TCU trying to update that win total to 3.
By Grayer, he's not exactly a good free throw shooter either. 56% on the year, knocked them both in.
Baylor's last bucket at the 7-minute mark. TCU's gone on a 15-1 run since then. Jared Butler for 3. Bain pulls it in.
Jamie Dixon smartly has Kevin Samuel off the floor for this possession. They're going to use some clock, space it and make Baylor pay if they make a mistake.
Fuller almost lost it and does. Here comes Butler with a convoy of Bears. Great recovery by TCU to halt the fast break chance. Oh, they got Gillespie. Illegal screen on Freddie Gillespie.
I understand what Baylor's doing. They're trying to run to the three-point line space and get some quick threes, but there's still enough time to get quick twos and attack the rim. Here, Banjo's just pulled the ball back out, and Gillespie doesn't set himself before he runs into Greer. That's a very good call.
A frustrating afternoon for the Baylor Bears.
I think on the last couple possessions, Baylor shot those quick threes where they still can attack the rim and get the twos and then set up their pressure. You'll take the threes. Obviously, you want them if they're there, but to force them really is counterproductive, especially now with Vital out of the game. You don't have a great offensive rebounder in the game. You got the four guards, space the court. If they give too much help, drive and kick. If not, go right to the rim.
You said it, just a complete tale of two halves. Baylor so dominant and somehow only led by single digits at halftime, but it was so much them in the first half for TCU to come and turn it around. Such an impressive effort for Jamie Dixon's side.
Well, TCU stayed involved in this game, stayed in this game in the first half because of their intensity, because of their mindset, okay, on the defensive end of the floor. Their defense kept them in this game where they felt kind of okay. They didn't feel good because there was no easy shots assembled or found out there on the offensive end of the floor. But the second half, they started running. They went into Samuel early, and then they started moving the ball, and then Desmond Bain showed why he's one of the top 5 players in this conference.
Bain has really played the role of closer so far, but so much of what TCU did, P.J. Fuller's effort on both sides, hit some big shots, made some big stops. Butler, another three. They just can't find one right now.
They can't find one because TCU's defense has been excellent. They're contesting shots, they're one and done. The guards are going to the glass.
They foul P.J. Fuller. This building knows it. The hopes of a conference title for the Baylor Bears. It's not over, but a big slip up today in Fort Worth as Kansas will take a one-game lead.
Well, two of Jamie Dixon's top 7 players not even dressed today. That's what makes it even more surprising. But listen, when you have a group that plays as hard as they did in the first half and didn't put their head down, but kept at it, sometimes special things can happen when you have a great player like Desmond Bain, and then everybody else's confidence starts to build. You can see P.J. Fuller's confidence start to build because a guy like Desmond Bain is giving him the ball and telling him, okay, it's okay for you to try to go and score. And when the best player says that, it gives you confidence, then suddenly you can rise your game up to a new level.
Return for Baylor is number 24, Matthew Meyer.
Full court pressure from Baylor, down by 11, just over a minute to go. They'll hold it, and Greer is fouled by Maceo Teague.
Excellent job by TCU, organized. They knew exactly what they wanted to do against that pressure. They spaced the court, they went over the top, got fouled.
Baylor with a loss will fall to 14-2. Texas a big win today over Texas Tech. They try to knock on that NCAA tournament door, but it's Kansas who will be rooting the hardest right now for TCU to hang on. Still over a minute to play. Baylor just got to knock down some shots here. Not completely out of reach. Butler, another three. They needed it. The lead to 9.
TCU knows what they're doing against this pressure on the attack. Good job.
Grayer pulls it back out, and he will go to the line. Let's go to the studio for a check-in with Kevin Connors.
Yeah, Chucky, North Carolina, Syracuse from the Carrier Dome underway right now over on ESPN News. Syracuse still holding on to faint NCAA tournament hopes. You can see that game right now on ESPN News. You'll see it full here on ESPN after the finish in Fort Worth, guys.
Thanks, Kevin. Grayer misses the first one from the line. What are you doing if you're Baylor? Are you driving the lane trying to get something easy or looking for threes?
You got to get something quick. Okay? Whatever the defense gives you now. The thing about TCU, they have not stepped their pressure. They haven't backed their pressure up at all.
Yeah.
They're still guarding out on the perimeter, so Baylor's going to have to work to try to dribble drive into the gaps. If they overhelp, get a 3.
Butler takes it in. Gillespie flushes it. TCU's got to get it in. Nice pass by Bain to break the pressure, and they foul Fuller. TCU 12 of 20 at the free throw line in this game, or in this half, I should say. And don't forget tonight a Sonic blockbuster, number 7 Duke at Virginia, needing a win to stay on that number 2 line, says Joe Lunardi. And then it's Michigan State and Maryland, 8 Eastern. College game day was there. What an atmosphere they'll have in that building tonight.
Well, TCU's done a very good job of understanding exactly what they needed to do against Baylor's pressure after Baylor has scored.
Another chance for Baylor to cut into it. Teague's shot blocked. Oh, he's fouled. Jair Grayer fouls him on the 3-point attempt. Teague, an 83.5% free throw shooter on the season.
Well, when you try to take down the big guy, it's never easy. That time on the closeout, good call by Mike Stevens. He got him right in the arm.
Teague's first one good. Are you cringing as a former coach seeing someone foul a 3-point shooter in that situation?
Absolutely, but you know, listen, TCU has, the thing I'm impressed about them defensively, they're not just running back and waiting for the block to run out and allowing Baylor just to get layups. You know, they're going back and they're playing defense. And they've done a good job against their pressure. Baylor gets right into the press and they're trying to trap, but TCU's done a good job of spacing the court and getting up over midcourt and getting fouled. They just haven't been able to knock down their foul shots with enough consistency.
6-point game, Teague 3 for 3. Quickly to Bain. Oh, and he throws her away. Baylor's hopes still alive. Teague for 3. Got it! Maceo Teague! Now Fuller out in front, Meyer trailing, Fuller flushes it!
Well, Baylor stayed at it and they kept going to the rim, and then they're transition, they got the ball screen at the top to get Teague open. And again, they get into their pressure after the 3 to just cuts it to 3, but coming up the court, again, not fazed by the pressure. They had the one miscue on the previous possession, but that time they got it back to Bain, who had his head up the whole time and looked right over the top. And really good move by Jamie Dixon to call a timeout to tell his team exactly what he wants on the defensive end of the floor.
Let's go to Kevin Connors quickly.
Anderson March. Chucky.
Baylor not done just yet. Davion Mitchell slicing. Freddie Gillespie with the offensive rebound. Now they need some cooperation here, but TCU has struggled at times inbounding the ball. Bain, long ball to Smith. Being chased down and fouled, but they will not count the bucket.
Kelly Self and Mike Stevens will talk about it to see if, in fact, Baylor did or did not make a play on the basketball. I think they're going to look at this and see if this is a flagrant. And here you see Teague swiping at him. I think he's going for the ball. I think this is just a common foul. Now, obviously, they called it on the floor before he gets into his shot, right there.
Yeah, I think that's just a common foul. Almost got a piece of the ball even from behind.
This crew has done an excellent job, and they're not going to spend an hour at the table. They're veterans. They know what they saw out there. They just wanted to review it to make sure.
TCU disagrees. And we get our explanation from our referees. Tim Welsh listening in right now. What's the explanation?
TCU wanted to push in the back by Teague, but the original foul occurred before that. And that ball was on the floor for one-on-one, one-on-one.
Deontay Smith, just a 48% free throw shooter. That's the big one. Both of them for Smith.
11 for 23 on the year. That was pure. Under pressure for a freshman in this environment. Baylor's got to try to get a three.
Baylor won 23 straight games before last weekend. It is back-to-back Saturday losses for the Baylor Bears. TCU upsets the #2 ranked team in the nation.
That was as gritty as it gets. Jamie Dixon's team came out, went toe-to-toe early. Their offense was not ready. Then they adjusted in the second half and took it right to a great basketball team.
You weren't gonna keep them off the court tonight. Jamie Dixon is loving it. Baylor falls to 14-2 in the Big 12. Desmond Bain, the hero, with 23 big ones. The fans on the court in Fort Worth. TCU by 3 over Baylor. Our final 75-72 for Tim Welsh and our entire crew. I'm Chucky Kemp. Up next, UNC and Syracuse.